Hello familia. So in recent years, the Nigerian startup ecosystem have been experiencing rapid growth, with several businesses going on to raise multiple millions of naira and dollars, and everyone now wanting to be a startup CEO or a startup employee. Yeah, I'm the manager now. What are we saying? As in most success stories, there are always failures involved, and in this video, I'll be sharing with you the top 10 multi-million business ideas that failed in Nigeria. By the way guys, if you love business and investing or personal finance in general, do well to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and without much talk, let's dive right into today's video. Let's go. Starting off at number 10 is a startup called Everything. Just like the name implies, everything. It was actually an online marketplace that enabled you to get just anything here in Nigeria. The company was actually founded by Saltside Technology, which is actually based in Sweden. You see, back in 2015, the e-commerce industry in Nigeria and Africa as a whole was being hyped. Jumia, which is an e-commerce platform, had just raised over $150 million from investors. Saltside Technologies must have heard about this raise and felt that this market was ripe in Africa, and it was the right time to come into Nigeria, which is the biggest market in Africa, and play in this particular sector. Going on to launch in Nigeria with a big buzz. And they did not just stop there, guys. They also went the extra mile to buy an already existing Nigerian startup called Adi for an undisclosed fee. Everyone in the Nigerian tech startup ecosystem feeling that this company is going to dominate the classified e-commerce space in Nigeria. But bad news struck in 2017 when the company went on to shut down and going on to actually auction off most of its property, and then its parent company, Saltside Technologies, going on to exit the Nigerian market. Next up at number 9, we have a company called DealDay. Purchasing things or even eating at a restaurant can be quite expensive in Nigeria because we're actually in a third world country, so we love a lot of discounts. DealDay was a startup that enabled Nigerians to find the best discount deals to purchase things online. The company was established in the year 2011 by the founder of Konga, Sim Shagaya. By 2015, DealDay had become the biggest e-commerce platform in Nigeria, going on to announce that it had raised over $5 million from investors. Shortly after raising that amount of money, DealDay went on to lay off 60% of its staff, and shortly later, DealDay was sold for over $5 million. For how big this company was actually touted to be, being sold for over $5 million was seen as a failure in the Nigerian tech startup ecosystem. At number 8, we have OyaPark. OyaPark was actually started by yours truly, which is me, and other awesome guys. The aim of OyaPark was to actually solve the issue of traffic congestion in Nigeria. One thing we noticed was that the major cause of traffic congestion in Nigeria was illegal on-street parking. So the plan was to basically partner with those that have underutilized land in CBD areas. Then these guys that park their cars illegally on the road, causing this traffic congestion, you tell them to come and park their cars in our landed properties or free space, and then they pay us a particular amount of money for taking care of their cars and also parking their cars in our space. Then this money they pay us, we split it with the property owner. But the business idea failed, even though it was actually a wonderful one. And why did it fail? It failed because we found it difficult to secure most of this land. And even though we were able to get some land, we also found it difficult to actually convince Nigerians to come and park their cars in our land. You know, Nigerians can be lawless at times. They are used to parking anyhow. So that was one of the major issues or problems that we faced that made me to actually lose interest in the business, and the business ended up failing. GoMyWay. GoMyWay was a ride-hailing startup that connected private car owners to passengers. So for example, let me say personally, I was traveling from Imo State down to Lagos, and also there are people that are traveling from Imo State down to Lagos as well. So GoMyWay will basically connect these people that are traveling from Imo State to me. So on that day that I'm going to travel, basically they can just enter my private car, and then I'll basically take them down to Lagos, and they could just come down. And then any money they pay GoMyWay, they will split that particular amount of money with me, the driver. This particular startup was an innovative idea and even went on to raise money from the likes of Sim Shagaya, who was the founder of Konga, and also Bio Palladino, an Amazon executive. But unfortunately, the company ran out of cash and their investors were not willing to put in more money into the company. Apart from this, another reason for the failure of GoMyWay, according to the founder, Damilola Thierry, was that users were actually circumventing the platform. Now, let me say someone booked a ride using GoMyWay from Imo State down to Lagos. On our way on the trip, me, the driver, can decide to tell the passenger to cancel the trip, so that instead of me collecting my payments on the GoMyWay application and then splitting the money with GoMyWay, I will now collect the full payment outside GoMyWay. So GoMyWay was actually losing money, and this made them to fail and making their investors want to put in more money into the company. Moving on to number 6, we have Showroom.ng. Showroom.ng was founded by Sheriff Shitu in the year 2015. The platform basically enabled furniture makers to showcase their product to buyers. The company had a goal of furnishing any Nigerian home and in turn making over 100,000 capitans in Nigeria millionaires. This startup was another wonderful idea that failed woefully, and according to the founder Sheriff, the company failed due to poor execution. While doing my research on Showroom.ng, I found a blog post made by Sheriff detailing his journey running Showroom.ng and the lessons he has learned doing business in Nigeria. So I'll leave a link to that particular article in the description, so you can go ahead and reading it and learning from that particular blog post. I really believe you learn a lot from it. CanPlus. The mission of this company was to connect student and student entrepreneurs through e-commerce. The company was actually founded by David Edet in the year 2015. CanPlus is one of those businesses you think will do really well, because after just 1 month of setting up the business, they went on to do over 4 million naira, which is something rare you find in any Nigerian startup that just started after 1 month. But the recession of 2016 really hit the company very, very hard, as cost of doing business in Nigeria skyrocketed and the company couldn't bear it, so they ended up shutting down their business. Next up at number 4, we have KickTools. This company was founded by 2 young promising Nigerians, Ability Elijah and Light Nduka, in the year 2016. Their goal was to basically sell beats to artists and as well as video firms. For the case of KickTools, they were having over 100,000 streams on their platform, but little to no revenue, talk more of profit, was coming in from these streams. So most of the money that was used to finance KickTools was from the pocket of Ability and as well as Light, as investors were actually scared of financing the business. After some period of running KickTools and seeing no real traction, KickTools was shut down and its co-founders going on to launch a design agency. Now they have also gone on to launch a fintech startup called Power, and I do hope this particular business venture does well. Next up at number 3, we have OyaPay. OyaPay was launched in 2017 and was trying to ensure that offline businesses could accept payment and collect forward orders from their customers with or without a smartphone. They were trying to actually move Nigeria into a cashless society with digital payment. OyaPay was actually touted to join the likes of Paystack, Flutterwave and Pega to be a leader in the fintech space in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. But after just 1 year of setting up the business, Abdul Hasid Hassan, who is the CEO, went on to say that the business did not shut down because of they are operating in the wrong market or they are not profitable, but rather the business shut down because one of the investors, who is a family member, refused to dilute his shares for other investors to join the company. Personally, for me, I find this particular reason for shutting down very, very ridiculous, because really, because of wow. Well, that's why they shut down, and I believe there's a lot of things we can learn from this particular business called OyaPay. Let's stop at number 2, we have MyPadi.ng. MyPadi.ng was founded in the year 2016 by Joel Amawe, and all they did was to connect students to available hostels for rent. Investors actually putting money into this business and it's actually failed, and its failure came as a shock to me because I knew they were solving a real-time problem, because I have been a student before and I know how difficult it is to find hostel as a student just joining a particular university. Then finally, startup failure number 1 we have on this list is Konga. Konga was an e-commerce platform founded by Sim Shagaya in the year 2012. Many people thought that this company was going to become the Amazon of Africa, but this vision of people was cut short with the news that Zynos Group was buying the company for less than $40 million US. Many people, including me, believed that Konga was a failure because the company was worth more than $100 million US, but being bought in such a way it was bought by Zynos Group, we all see it as a bad exit, so we categorize it as a failure. While doing my research on why Konga failed, I figured out there are many reasons you could put the failure on Konga on, but one particular reason that sticks out for me was that investors did not want to back the business anymore, so they had to look for the best way to recover the existing money they have already put into the business, and their best option was to sell the business, so they went on to sell it for less than $40 million US. Guys, doing business in Nigeria can be quite difficult, and I do believe you have learned 1 or 2 lessons from this particular video. I have another video where I break down how Kuda Bank lost over 6 billion naira, and I do believe you will find that video very, very interesting. Do not forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and with that being said, guys, see you on the next one.